Hello everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here. We're going to be talking about all the talents for all the undead units in Warcraft Rumble. I'm going to give you some suggestions. I'm also here live, so my chat is going to be chiming in with what they think as well. Let's take a look at the talents right here. Talents are something that you unlock when a unit goes from common to uncommon and then rare and epic. You get to bring one of them into combat at a time. We're going to take a look at the talents here first for the Gargoyle. Gargoyle is legit one of the best units in the game. It's super cheesy. You can cheese a lot of PvE maps with Gargoyle. Your talents are Wing Buffet, Obsidian Statue, and Aerial Superiority. Wing Buffet increases move speed by 33%. Yes. Obsidian Statue on death. Summon a statue with taunt. I don't know. Could be kind of fun, but I don't know. Aerial Superiority, incoming damage from flying minis is reduced by 50%. There are actually some good options for both the Obsidian Statue and Aerial Superiority, but I think giving this unit increased move speed is OP. It's just, I don't see another option. I would absolutely pick that every time. Maybe the statue's really powerful, but I just think it's so good. I mean, with what this unit does, I feel like that's the way to go. Denver agrees in the chat as well. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it's Tower Siege, right? Skeletons. I actually really love skeletons. I think they're a pretty solid unit. That was the first Unbound unit I was messing around with here. Questing Buddies. One skeleton gains armor, one gains resist, and one gains stealth. Well, I guess. I don't know. I don't think that's that relevant. Cackle, gain taunt. This actually could be super relevant. An unbound unit that costs very, very little that you can taunt and pull enemies off of certain units is pretty solid. And then Exhume. If deployed near a tower or meeting stone, deploy 2 additional skeletons. That's actually pretty good. I often use skeletons and quillbore, things like that, to capture meeting stones. Also knowing that you could put this near a tower and just overwhelm the tower very quickly, I do think that's pretty solid. And I would say it's actually a pretty good call. But did you know that skeletons are a reference to bones? I do now. But I think Cackle actually may be the best call here, because you're going to be able to do some wild stuff with it. All right, let's take a look at our next undead unit, which is going to be our Necromancer. Necromancer is pretty solid, ranged unit, being able to spawn here as well. Spawn skeletons. Cult of the Damned. On kill, summon a skeleton. Fair. Jeweled Skulls. Summon skeletal mages instead of skeletons. That's pretty legit, because it makes everything that you're summoning ranged. And then Breath of the Dying. On death, summon 5 skeletons, which is also really solid. So the only tough thing is when the Necromancer is finally, killed inside of a match, I do think that you're already at a point where 5 additional skeletons aren't going to be that big of a deal. I would probably take skeletal mages just so you could have range damage, because range damage is extremely good inside this game. All right. Moving on, Abomination. I love Abomination. Your options are Noxious Presence, which poisons enemies every 3 seconds. Fine, you're so tanky and enemies are near you. Cannonball, on deploy, and at 50% health, stun nearby enemies for 5 seconds. This is legit so long. It's so long. A 5-second stun on enemies around you? That's crazy good. I think Fresh Meat is the easy choice, and it's probably the best choice in some situations, but Cannonball's ability would let you protect yourself against towers and just put the enemy in a horrible situation in some fights. I think I would choose either Cannonball or Fresh Meat, and you'd have to know how you planned on playing it inside of a match, right? But I honestly think Cannonball is ridiculously good. The only question is, how small is the range of Cannonball? And I have not played with it, so I can't tell you for sure. Fresh Meat's easy though. Literally, you pull in a target, you pull in a ranged target, and you get KOs. I feel like that's a pretty solid choice for Abomination. Banshee. Fun unit, really fun unit. Banshee's options: Soul Eruption, possess targets detonate on death, pretty cool. Unholy Frenzy, possess targets gain bloodlust for 10 seconds. That's a really good one. And then Will of the Necropolis, fully heal the possessed target. So all of these are great. I think Unholy Frenzy, if used correctly, you are going to be possessing targets and then making them super powered, and 10 seconds is an extremely long time inside of Warcraft Rumble. I think that's very good. Will of the Necropolis puts you in a position to just take over units at full health. Like, you can literally take 6 cost units from the enemy and walk them at full health, which is very good. Soul Eruption is fine. I would have to see what the damage of Soul Eruption is before I could really say that was the call. I would probably go with one of the other ones here. Will of the Necropolis is easy too. So you just throw Banshee into a fight. It walks into the fight, and if it takes a top, HP unit and fully heals it, I think that's a really solid choice here. Let's see. Ghoul. Ghoul's cool, and it rhymes. Ghoul's Bone Shield, cannibalizing grants armored for 10 seconds, not bad. Ravenous, cannibalizing grants bloodlust for 10 seconds, also not bad. Taste for Blood, deal 50% additional damage to enemies who are below 50% health. I would probably take Taste for Blood, even though you could get great things out of Ravenous and Bone Shield. The thing about Taste for Blood is going to happen more often than Bone Shield and Ravenous. You're more often going to be near an enemy with less than 50% health than you are going to be cannibalizing. That's just, you have to KO something to cannibalize it. And at the same time, Taste for Blood just means you're near something with low health. You have a higher chance of cannibalizing. I think Taste for Blood is probably the easiest call here and probably good for newer players. Zev in the chat's also saying Ghoul does good damage too, which is nice. So it's good damage that gets increased there when they're below 50% health. I would pick Taste for Blood. Let's see. Cheat Death, a really interesting spell. I don't see really anybody running Cheat Death, and I'm guessing this is going... I would feel like this is going to get buffed because I just don't see anyone play this. You can do some cheesy stuff with it. Seal Fate. Affected minis gain bloodlust but die when the effect ends. So you know that they're going down already, and you just do a ton of damage. That's pretty good. Vampirism. Affected minis are healed when dealing damage. Not bad. So not only are you cheating death, but you're also kind of coming back from the brink. And Apocalypse. Affected skeletons resurrect at your base when they die. This is pretty fun in a very specific deck. I think Apocalypse is super fun in a super specific deck. If I had to pick one for every deck, it's probably Vampirism. It just seems like the easiest choice for most every deck. But in a specific skeleton deck, I think Apocalypse could be very good. Meat Wagon. I have not played much with Meat Wagon, I have to be honest. Every other attack summons a skeleton instead of dealing damage. I don't know. Filet Trebuchet. Increase bombard range by +2. That feels like the call. Like, the whole point of this is to outrange everything in the game. It already does. At 11 range. And now it turns your range into 13. I think that's... This is what you're doing with this unit, right? Is you are doing crazy good damage at range. Greas Gears gains Fury. That's also pretty decent, I think. I don't think there's anything wrong with Greas Gears. I mean, Fury's a really good ability. But at the same time, I just feel like if you're setting this up to do damage to towers and bosses, Filet Trebuchet is probably the way to go. Then again, I don't play much Meat Wagon, and I don't ever see it played. Plague Farmer. On death, summon a pumpkin. When touched, it poisons nearby enemies. Cool. Virulence. On kill, poison enemies near the target. They're already poisoned. That's the thing. When you're playing this unit, they're already poisoned. Essentially, I mean, it feels like Virulence is just like a hat on a hat at this point. And then Splashing Pumpkins increases range by 1 and double the splash area. If I'm playing Plague Farmer, that's what I'm playing. Plague Farmer's also a weird one. It only hits ground units. It's not crazy. It doesn't have crazy good range. It's not bad, but it's not great. I don't love Plague Farmer, and I never see it played, but I would give it more range and more splash damage. That's what I would play with. Because you never have to think about it, right? I love talents that you literally get value out of without even trying. Skeleton Party summons a skeleton tank, rogue, priest, and 2 mages. I have not seen this in action. I have to be honest. I don't know how good this is. I've never seen anyone run it. I'm curious if someone in the chat has seen this because I've never seen this. Corpse Run. Gain +1 level for each deploy after the first, maximum of 3 levels. I do like this. I feel like this is a good call. And then Ritual of Rhyme. Summon 5 skeleton mages who guard the deploy location. I don't really play with anything that does any guarding currently. And I also, again, don't see anyone running this in PvP. I think either 5-man or Corpse Run would be the way to go. Gaining levels, fine. 5-man could be really cool. But I have no idea how good it is. Zev says it's Corpse Run. 5-man is hilarious. Yeah, it feels like Corpse Run is just the easy choice right there. And then those are all of our undead units. It's hilarious for sure. You went for hilarious. Okay, then maybe that is the call. Now let's talk about our leaders. We've got Baron Rendir. I think a great leader, by the way, for new players. Baron, I think, is just easy to use. It's 4 cost. Let's take a look at your talents right here. Death Pact. Periodically sacrifice a nearby skeleton to be healed. I've heard this is sick. It's super specific, but I've heard it's actually really, really good. And you heal for a ton. So that might be a really cool ability. Skeletal Frenzy. Nearby allied skeletons gain Bloodlust. Fine. Fine. And then Chill of the Grave. Summon skeletal mages instead of warriors. I picked this. In general, range is better than melee just all the time. You get more hits in more often with ranged moves and things like that. I like the skeletal mages. However, I think there's probably something really, really powerful about Death Pact because I've seen it used in some really cool ways. Here we go. Blood Mage Thalnos. You silly, silly Blood Mage. Gain Lifesteal is one of your options with Drain Life. Bane. Playing a spell increases attack speed by 30% for 5 seconds. That's pretty solid. And then Dominance. Spells costing 4 or more grant an additional level. I really like Dominance because you're going to play things like Blizzard, right? And you could easily also play... You could upgrade Arcane Blast. You know? And you could use a level 4 cost right there to gain additional levels. It feels like Lifesteal is pretty easy, though. Lifesteal is just like an easy call. I actually don't play enough Blood Mage Thalnos to say which one is going to be best. I feel like Lifesteal just feels like the call. Denver from the chat is saying Lifesteal has won me games before. It just feels easy. Like, I hate having this opinion sometimes, but it's just the truth. Things that you don't have to think about that work, even when you're not paying attention, are often really, really beneficial in a lot of games. So I think there's nothing wrong with picking a talent that's always good. I think that's very, very, very powerful. And we only have 2 undead heroes right now. I wonder if they're going to add... I wonder if the next one they're going to add is an undead hero. So that is going to be it for our undead talents list. Zev in the chat says Lifesteal got nerfed. He used to not be able to die. Bane is really great. That's good to know. So Bane is giving you the attack speed increase. Obviously, you know when you're going to cast. You know you can cast around Blood Mage and you can get increased attack speed, which is really solid. And it sounds like Drain Life got nerfed. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Let me know your favorite talents in the comments. I love you so much, and I'll see you all next time. We did it.